Welcome to Competition Curious, a blog, vlog, and podcast for business owners and marketers who are curious about running competitions. By now, you should know that I am your host, Suki Van Kay, and I am the world's first and only dedicated expert, strategist, and complete nerd when it comes to competitions. And I just love sharing my knowledge about competitions. Today, in episode 5 of Competition Curious, I want to share with you 10 reasons that you should run a competition. And because I'm a little bit kooky, 20 reasons why you shouldn't run a competition. So if you're curious to find out, let's go. Now, I'm a really big believer in being transparent and honest with people, and I like to give people all of the information before they make up their mind about something. So when it comes to thinking about reasons to run a competition, I think it's also fair to give you all of the realities and reasons why you may actually not want to run a competition. For me, it's really important for you to go into running a competition with all of the information so that you know exactly what you're in for, eyes wide open before you actually launch. So let's dig in first to 10 reasons why you should run a competition. Number 1, competitions are a great way to generate leads. So if you are giving away your own product or service, which is what I would always recommend in all circumstances ever, everyone who enters your competition is essentially saying, I want what you're offering. So every single entrant to your competition is a lead. And it's up to you to have the processes in place to follow up with those leads and turn those leads into sales after the competition or even during the competition. Number 2, because competitions are incredibly engaging. Did you know, for example, that competition posts are up to 5.5 times more engaging on social media than regular posts? This is according to a Buffer study. I will, of course, link down in the show notes. And this is definitely something that I have seen with my clients as well. When we run the competition, we, of course, pin the main competition announcement post to the top of the page, which will naturally increase its engagement, as it's the first post that people will see when they visit your Facebook or Instagram profile. However, they generally tend to get a huge amount of engagement and comments by nature, by the way that the post is written as well, but because people just love to be involved in something as fun as a giveaway. Which brings us neatly to number 3. Your audience will love for you to run a competition. I still talk about the coloring competition that I won when I was 9 years old. I'm literally talking about it to you now. I love the feeling of winning, not that it's happened to me all that often, but your audience will too. Not only that, but generally your winner will become a huge brand advocate for you and your business as well. Number 4 is to gather social proof. So this can be done in one of 2 ways. If you run a competition that requires people to submit something as part of their entry, for example, 25 words or less, or a testimonial or a photo of them using your product or service, for example, then this gathers content that you can reuse in your marketing, which can often actually be more powerful than professional photos or photo shoots. The other way that competitions can help you gather social proof for your brand is, of course, via your lucky winner. So once you have drawn and awarded your prize to your winner, I would always recommend you to ask your winner for a photograph of themselves with the prize and a couple of words about how happy they are to win. This, of course, then makes for amazing social media and marketing and email content. And not only that, it makes the rest of your audience love your brand because they see that you have actually awarded the prize to a real life person. The number 5 reason to run a competition is that they're actually not all that expensive, all things considered. When you think of running competitions, you may think that you need to have an absolutely huge ad spend or hire an expensive graphic designer or create all of this marketing collateral to go in your store. And that's just really simply not the case. A competition can be as big or as small as your budget or your imagination allows. You really just need a prize and your time to dedicate to actually creating, managing, and running the competition. Now, an important thing to remember here is that the dollar value of the prize isn't the true value of the prize. The value of the prize is in how much your audience wants that prize, how much of a difference it's going to make in their lives, how sought after it is, and also just how well you market and explain and make your prize desirable. I have seen competitions with prizes valued at $5 that have gone viral, and competitions with $20,000 prizes that have got far fewer than the entries of the $5 prize competition. So it does not matter how valuable in terms of dollars your prize is. It's about how much your audience values what you are offering. Number 6, to get quality marketing material or indeed any material from your audience. So let's say, for example, you own a t-shirt business and you are looking for new slogans to print on your t-shirts. You can ask your audience to come up with a slogan as part of the competition. You can then potentially use all of those entries as new slogans for your t-shirts. And you could, for example, award the 10 best slogans, their t-shirt printed, even framed, maybe with a little other package to reward them as winners. There is no better way to get marketing material and inspiration for your business than directly from your audience, the people who know, love, and purchase your products or services. Number 7, because it's really, really clear to see your return on investment with competitions. So because you set your budget in advance with a competition, and because all of your costs are pretty much upfront when it comes to a competition, you know exactly how much you are spending on that as a marketing avenue, as a marketing channel in advance. Now, something I always encourage people to do with competitions is to keep track of how much they spend on the competition. And most of the spend is upfront with the competition. And then at the end of the competition, once you've done what you need to do to convert those people into clients, usually with some kind of offer after the competition, you will be able to see exactly how much you've made from your entrance versus how much the competition cost you. And from that, you can work out your return on investment. And with competitions in particular, it is extremely clear to see, especially in comparison with some other marketing tactics, for example, such as blogging or posting on social media. The number 8 reason to run a competition is to increase brand awareness. Sometimes clients will come to me with the idea of running a competition purely to gain brand awareness, and I would usually encourage them to pick another goal higher than brand awareness, simply because you get a huge amount of brand awareness for your business simply by running a competition. This is because during your competition, you will be, of course, promoting it, and you will be making your competition visible in multiple places. And you probably will be promoting the competition a lot harder and a lot more often and in a lot more places than you normally would promote your brand. Now, with your competition promotion posts, they will always be heavily branded. They will always be in your color schemes with your fonts, hopefully featuring your products or services as prizes, maybe even your face if you're game. So the brand awareness that you gain from a competition is so huge that it doesn't even need to be the main goal of your competition. It is just one of those amazing side benefits that comes from running competitions and giveaways. Number 9, competitions are incredible learning opportunities. You can learn so much about your audience through running a competition, whether it's looking at the type of people who visit your competition and enter your competition versus the type of people you thought would, or whether it's looking at the types of comments that people leave in a comment to win competition, or whether it's simply looking at your analytics and your insights and the data that you gain from the people who see your competition, visit your competition page or post, or who actually enter your competition. There is so much information that you gain from running a competition that you can use to market your business further in the future. And finally, number 10, because competitions are actually a lot of fun. Now, they may sound like a lot of work occasionally when I describe maths involved in calculating ROI, or when I describe organic reach percentages, might sound a little bit dry, even in the definition of competition, which we covered in a previous episode recently. Competitions, I promise you, are actually a lot of fun. Your audience will absolutely love to enter your competition. They will love engaging with you. You will see a whole different side of your audience. And if you're well prepared in advance, if you schedule your promotional posts, and if you choose an entry method that brings you the kind of information that your business needs to grow, you will have so much fun in running your competition or giveaway. All right, so that covers the 10 reasons why you should run a competition. And to be honest, those are pretty easy for me to cover, easy for me to talk about. I feel these things and experience these things on a daily basis, running competitions for my clients. But what about the reasons why you shouldn't run a competition? What if there are things that you really need to know about before you decide to run a competition? That's why it's important for me to include 20 reasons why you shouldn't run a competition. And here they are. Number one, competitions require work. Yes, I just said number 10 in the reasons you should run a competition. They're a lot of fun. But number one in the reasons why you shouldn't run a competition is because they do actually require work. I always say that competitions are not set and forget. That means you can't launch a competition, post it to social media, send it to your email list, and then forget about it until close day. If you want the best results possible from your competition, you need to be out there every day looking at the entries, seeing what's happening, looking at your analytics, engaging with your audience, posting to promote your competition, looking for new ways, new opportunities to get people to enter your competition if you want to make the most of it. So they can be a little bit of work. Number two, you do need time to prepare. So you can't really decide at 6 o'clock on a Sunday night to run a competition, post about it at 7 p.m., and then hope for the best. In reality, to make the most of your competition, you will need to plan in advance for your competition. And I would usually say to my clients about 3 weeks before you want to launch is when you need to be looking at preparing for your competition. And the reason I say this is because there are a few things you need to prepare in advance. These are namely your terms and conditions, your license applications, which can sometimes take up to 21 business days to be granted, though having said that, I've never seen them take quite that long. And also your marketing material to make sure you can actually promote your competition. And also, I do like to advise clients to do a bit of a countdown before the competition goes live. This is so that people can expect it. And this is so that people know the exact date that you're launching. It's not a surprise when you launch. You keep it a complete secret until launch day, then post about it, and people are surprised. They need time to find out more. They need time to be warmed up to the idea. So if you plan ahead and you give yourself time before competition launch to tease your audience, to put some teaser posts out there, to mention that something is launching, to give people time frames to count down to launch, then you're going to get a much, much, much better result and more entries on day one. Number three, competitions do come at a cost. So I mentioned last episode about the cost of competitions, and I also did talk about it a little bit in the reasons you should run a competition. Whether you're a service-based business or a product-based business, there will always be a cost involved, whether it's your cost of your product or the cost of your time to deliver the service, or even postage to send the prize out to your winner. Competitions are rarely ever 100% free, so you do need to bear this in mind in advance and perhaps make room in your marketing budget or put a little bit of money aside in advance if you know you're soon to be running a competition. Number four, you do actually have to give something away when you run a competition. So there's a couple of parts to this. The first is, of course, that you must actually give your prize away. If you're running a competition, you can't make it dependent on whether you reach a certain fundraiser goal or whether you get a certain number of entries as to whether you will actually give the prize away. If you are running a competition and you're advertising a certain prize, you must deliver that prize, whether you get one entry or 1 million entries. So it's really important to budget for your prize. The other side of this, of course, is that I would always recommend my clients to give away their own product or service. So if you are a new business or you are in the process of launching, then it may be worth waiting until you can actually deliver your service or you do have your product in-house ready to give away, so that you are promoting your own product or service and you're not giving away someone else's. This is particularly important for new businesses because it means if you're giving away your own product or service, all of the entrants you get as part of your competition are people saying, I want what you sell, I want what you to have to offer. So it means that they are all potential customers and potential leads for your new business. Number five, competitions may not work for your brand. Now, I've yet to come across a business that competitions won't work for, But of course, there is always an exception to the rule. So think carefully about whether competitions are the right strategy for you and your business. There's always a time and a place for a competition. And if there's another way that you could potentially achieve your goal without having to give something away or incentivize behavior, then you may wish to try that first before you run a competition. Or you may wish to carefully consider what kinds of people you will attract to a competition versus another marketing tactic. Number 6, competitions can attract trolls. Unfortunately, like anything in life and especially on social media, there are people out there who like to make life difficult. And occasionally, you very rarely, but occasionally will come across people who like to comment on competitions and make life difficult for the business. So it's important just to monitor any competition posts that you put out there, reply to any comments, and also decide in advance how you're going to deal with them. Whether that means a very polite reply that makes you look even better and more grown up than the troll, or whether it's simply to delete nasty comments. It is, as I say, very, very rare, but it does happen. So I did want to warn you. Number 7, the number 7 reason why you may not want to run a competition is that competitions don't always attract the people that you hope to attract, and the wrong people may enter your competition. Now, where you promote your competition and how you promote your competition is going to determine who is going to enter and what kinds of people are going to see your competition in the first place. So it's important to think about this in advance, where you're going to promote your competition and what kind of people hang out on those channels. Now, why is it important to get the right people to enter instead of just anyone to enter? Isn't more entries better than less? Well, it depends on what you're going for with your competition, but in general, no. The aim of a competition is to collect people who are most likely to purchase your product. So, of course, if you are advertising your competition in the wrong places or promoting it in places where your ideal customer isn't, then you're not going to get the kinds of people who are going to turn into paying customers. Occasionally, as well, you will get your competition posted to a competition website, and that may attract what I call prize pigs. These are people who enter competitions for a living. They have no idea who the business is, or even sometimes what the prize is. They're just in it for the win or to sell the prize to pay their bills or their mortgage. So it's important going into a competition knowing that you won't always attract 100% of your ideal client, but with careful promotion and careful strategy and thinking hard about where your people hang out and where you're going to promote your competition is definitely going to make sure that the right people see your competition and hopefully enter your competition. Number 8, competitions are not for the faint-hearted because the results are an unknown. Until we actually launch the competition and start getting some data about what's happening with your competition, there isn't a way to predict exactly what kind of result we're going to see. Now, that said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I know that if we have a few important statistics about your brand, we can make a prediction about what kind of results we're likely to end up with. But they are just a prediction. There is absolutely no guarantee. There are some competitions that really struggle to get entries, and there are some competitions that absolutely smash the competition out of the park and have a party on the broken pieces of the goal. It's absolutely impossible to predict how a competition is going to perform in advance. And for some people, this is just not appealing. Number 9, you may get no entries at all. Now, this is something I've never, ever personally seen happen, but it is something I have definitely heard of happening. So the success of your competition really depends on how much you promote it. And as I've said before, where, when, and how you promote it. So whilst it's very unlikely that you will get 0 entries whatsoever for your competition, it is a very real possibility. And it is something that I do just want to make you aware of, that you could put all of this time and energy and potentially money into a competition, and you could see 0 entries as a result. Number 10, reason why you may not want to run your competition is that you can't actually win your own prize. Okay, so this may sound like a little bit of a silly one. You obviously can't enter your own competition, and under no circumstances would you ever win your own competition. But it is important to point out to you that actually your immediate family and relatives can't enter your competition or win your competition either. And this goes for step relatives and grandparent relatives as well. Number 11, competitions demand demand a fair chunk of your time. As I said at the start of this list of reasons why you may not want to run a competition, competitions are not set and forget. Now, this means that you need to be on during your competition. You need to be checking your comments. You need to be replying to comments. You need to be checking your emails. You need to be looking at your statistics. You need to be looking at your entry numbers and taking measures to fix things if they slow down, or to put more fuel on the fire if your competition is going amazingly. You do need to be prepared to give a fair amount of your time to your competition whilst it is live. Now, there is a surefire way for competitions to demand absolutely zero of your time, and that is to work with a competition expert such as myself. So with the competition concierge service, that basically gets you an expert on your team for the duration of your competition. All you have to do is come to me with an idea and I will take care of absolutely everything else, from creating the competition from a strategic point of view, mapping out where we're going to promote the competition, who we're going to show the competition to, how people are going to enter, through to creating all of the promotional material, to managing the competition whilst it's live, even creating Facebook ads for your competition, and all of the marketing material, including emails, social media posts, absolutely everything you will need to promote your competition. And then post-competition as well, taking care of the conversion to purchase. So just a quick plug for the competition concierge service. If you would like to find out more, then obviously I'll pop the link in the show notes below. Back to our list. The number 12 reason why you may not want to run a competition is because they make you think. They do demand a lot of your brain power. Competitions work best when they are part of a bigger master plan. So whatever you want to achieve with your business or with your marketing, competitions should support that goal. They should be a part of making you get to that goal. And you're also going to think about what you're going to do with your entrants, what you're going to do with the people who've seen your competition, what you're going to do with your new subscribers, your new followers, etc., during and after the competition. So you actually need to think about how competitions fit into your marketing and your business plan overall. Number 13, competitions can be a steep learning curve. Unless you're going to outsource your competition to a professional, you will need to master a number of different aspects of running a competition or wear a few different hats during your competition. This means you're going to need to know how to design your graphics for your social posts, for example, how to copyright for your emails, for example, and also how to write Facebook, how to create Facebook ads, to name just a couple of examples of diverse things your competition will demand from you. So be prepared to learn new skills or consider outsourcing and therefore paying for these services. Number 14, you may encounter prize pigs. Now, I mentioned these a little bit before. Unfortunately, these are part of competition life. These are people who enter competitions for a living, and you may encounter them with your competition. Now, you can avoid prize pigs like the plague if you avoid generic prizes such as iPads, cash, and holidays. And again, this is another reason why I insist that my clients give away their own product or service to minimize the risk of prize pigs who care about prizes and not your brand entering your competition. Number 15, you may get hooked on competitions. Okay, so this is another light comic relief one, but it is true. The vast majority of the people that we work with and create competitions for do go on to run more competitions, future competitions. So be prepared that you may get the competition bug and you may want to run more competitions after this one. Number 16, you may learn some hard truths about your brand or your business. So, for example, you may run a feedback competition where you get people to complete a review or give you feedback on your product. And not all feedback may be feedback that you want to hear. They may highlight flaws with your product or your service, or they may not be quite as positive and sparkling reviews as you were hoping for. Competitions may also reveal things like problems in your funnel, or they may reveal broken parts of your website. But remember, everything that your competition teaches you is a chance to improve your business, grow your business, and get even more sales. So even the failures turn into wins when it comes to competitions. Number 17, you might make fake friends. Now, this is quite common if you don't think carefully about where you promote your competition and who you promote your competition to. You may attract people who subscribe or follow or enter the competition just to win. And then when the competition's over, you see a sharp drop in your followers or subscribers. So it's really, really important to be aware of this in advance and to make plans to actually mitigate and avoid this happening with careful targeting of your promotion and careful nurturing of your entrants once they enter your competition. Number 18, you must follow rules, rules, and more rules. Yes, it's true, there are a fair amount of rules involved when it comes to running a competition, which isn't always fun, but must be done. It is absolutely essential that you follow the rules when it comes to competitions, whether this be for terms and conditions, social media platform rules, or when it comes to licenses and permits. Now, you may think that the rules don't apply to you in your tiny corner of social media land, but unfortunately, all it takes is a disgruntled ex-employee or a competitor or an audience member who is not happy with the service they received to report your competition post that breaks the rules, and you've lost all of the followers on your page. There are rules to follow when it comes to running a competition, and you must follow them. Number 19, a bit of a strange one, but what if your competition works too well? What if you have too many leads? What if you have too many sales to process? What if you can't pack the orders fast enough and people are starting to complain and ask where their order is? Of course, you can prepare for the extra workload. Of course, you can outsource if you find yourself growing quickly as a result of competitions. And of course, just explain to your audience what has happened, that you have run a competition that has gone so well that your order times are a little bit delayed. Number 20, you may not actually enjoy running a competition. When all said and done, competitions do require an enormous amount of time, sometimes money, effort, and brain space, and they're not for everyone. But it could also be the case that you run one competition and decide never to run a competition again. So don't feel bad if you do run a competition and decide they are not for you. Or equally, if you run a competition and it works incredibly well for your business, but you just want to hand it over to someone else. So there you have it, 10 reasons why you should run a competition and 20 reasons why you shouldn't. If you are still with me and you are still thinking of running a competition, incredible, amazing, I would love to support you in the process. I have already mentioned my concierge service. I do also have an 8-week course that is designed to support you through the ins and outs of running a competition, from idea right through to close, drawing your winner and converting your winners into paying customers. All of the details for those will be in the show notes, and you can always contact me as well. As ever, if you have enjoyed this episode of Competition Curious, I would love if you could share it with your business owner and marketing friends. Of course, please follow and subscribe, rate and review, and I will see you next time for another episode of Competition Curious.